Welcome back to my channel. You know who I am, Stephanie D. McKenzie with new curly hair. Shout out to my trichologist and natural stylist and everybody that takes care of Kanisha. All right, so at the time I'm making this video, there's a lot going on, right? And so just in my life, there's a lot going on in the world, but there's a lot going on in my life today. But I wanted to make sure that I made this video because I want you to see it. And I'm sure if you've been looking at the content on the channel, thank you to those of you who tune in, that comment, that share, all of that. And one thing I will say, if you know me in social media and you like something that's on the video, please comment on the actual video. It's great to get your messages, or it's great to get your comments on Facebook or Instagram, but what really helps me is if you comment on the actual video that you watch, and that way other people can see the video. It helps it gain traction, blah, 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 blah. Algorithm. You know how this works. So today's question that I'm going to be looking at is, should you date a people pleaser? Should you date a people pleaser? And I think it's a valid question, right? But there are some things that you've got to understand. And coming to you as a recovering people pleaser, you know, I'm very open about that. I'm even very open about my micro relapse. I probably need to do a video on that and how it happened, because I've talked about it on Instagram, but I don't think I made a video about it. So if you want that video, put relapse in the comments and I'll know that you want that video, and I will make that video happen. So I'm trying to be as casual as possible. You see, we got the chair all like, let's do videos like this. I mean, I guess we could do the video just like this and just lean to the side. Do y'all want me to do the video like this? I am not gonna do the video like this. Stand by. Hey, now we've got things back the way that we need them to be. So let's talk about this. Should you date a people pleaser? Because I don't think it's an easy question. What's going on with my shirt, y'all? Oh, you know what? It was on a hanger. Yeah, it's got a hanger bump on it. Okay, fine. My OCD. Stop, OCD. Stop. OCD. OCD is happening right now, y'all. It's happening. Okay, so here's the thing. As a recovering people pleaser, I've got a few takes on this, but if you're looking for a yes or a no answer, it's probably not going to happen like that, because if it was that simple, why would I make a long form video about it? I could just do it short and be like, yes or no, here you go. All right, so here's the first thing that I feel you need to know about dating a people pleaser. And you're probably gonna be like, well, duh. Or then you're probably gonna be like, huh. Here's the thing, but before I tell you that, make sure that you have liked this video. And if you like the energy thus far, think about subscribing. Let's stay connected. And we are still doing comment and win. I apologize, I haven't done the April drawing yet, but I will do it. So your comments count, comment and win. There will be a May drawing as well. I'm gonna try to do this every month. All right, so that's happening. And I must be about to say something fairly profound because the nose is doing the nose thing. All right, so the first thing that you need to know about dating a people pleaser is that you probably won't know that they're a people pleaser. What? Like, people pleasers don't wear t-shirts. Hi, I'm a people pleaser. What you're probably going to hear from them is a level of busyness that's much like your own. So you're going to say, oh, okay, well, you know, they got caught in a meeting. Oh, okay, they have a situation that they're handling and they might be a little late to wherever we're going or meeting or to our phone call or whatever. So off, you know, the top of the situation, you won't know that you're dating a people pleaser. You'll just think that you're dating somebody or getting to know somebody, or that you like somebody who has things going on in their life. And guess what? We all have things going on in our life. So that's not really a red flag, right? Okay, great. But when you will begin to figure this out is when they start to do a few other things that we're going to talk about. Because again, if you are a busy person, I mean, and basically if you have a job, if you have a kid, even if you don't, if you have a job, if you have membership in organizations, if you have a full life, a multifaceted adult life, then their lapses in the ability to maybe be on time, or when they need extra time, aren't going to strike you as odd. We've all thought that the meeting was going to end in an hour, and it, was an hour and a half. We've all thought that this one errand was going to take this long and ended up taking this long, or should I say taking 30 seconds. It ended up, okay, 30 seconds, I'm going to get in the car, get it and get back in, and it ended up taking 30 minutes. So it's very normal. It's super duper normal. Now, if you're a person who has a more laid back lifestyle for whatever reason, then you might say, I need to be priority. Okay, well, I mean, there's a video for that too. Okay. All right, great. So do you know there's like over 100 videos on this channel? Anyway, OCD, ADD, they're all here today. Okay, so we're going to get through this video, hence why it is timestamped below. If you're just like, oh my God, she's at it again. Yes, she is. But I think I tell good stories. So I don't know. Get on board with me. Okay, so you're not going to know that they're a people pleaser off rip, as I like to say. You're just not going to know that. And so they're not going to wear a t-shirt. If they were to come out and tell you, that would be weird, because normally that doesn't happen. So here's the thing. If you get an idea that you're dating a people pleaser, okay, then just keep an eye out. Just keep an eye out. All right, so should you date a people pleaser? Well, first of all, you're not going to know they're a people pleaser, so you're going to probably like them, and they're going to be fairly charming, because as we know, people pleasing and codependency are together. They are cousins. They are related. And one of the codependent patterns of behavior that I can't recall at this moment definitely has the person being very, very charismatic, and they're drawing you in. Right? You have great conversations. You can talk about anything. It's good. It's good. It's good. And so at some point, I'm just going to say it. The people pleaser is lying to you. I know. The people pleaser is lying to you, and it's not personal, because they're lying to themselves. Remember, people pleasers have this idea that they have to do all the things for all the people in order for things to be well. That's a lie. I don't have to make it my sole joy, the bane of my existence, if you will, to please other people so that I'm valuable in this life, so that I'm worthy in this life. So remember, people pleasers are usually lying to themselves. So lying to you will not be a problem. And usually the way that they lie, before you're like, oh my God, what have I done? No, usually the way that they lie is through omission. It's through omission, which means they're not telling you. Which means when you thought that there was an errand that needed to happen that was supposed to be very quick, and it turned out to not be very quick, and that's what made them late, and that's why they were delayed, and they apologized profusely. What they're not telling you is that that wasn't even a scheduled errand. It was because somebody called and needed them. Remember, because the need to be needed, codependency, people pleasing, it all goes together. Okay, this is all a recipe. Okay. So somebody called them out of the blue and needed them. And so they dropped everything that they were doing to satiate that need to be needed, to demonstrate and prove their value to the person that called them. And that is actually why the errand took 30 minutes, because the errand wasn't even scheduled. And so as time goes on, you might notice more of those types of things happening, where it's like, well, you said you were going to do this. Oh, well, so-and-so called. Oh, well, my mom called. Oh, well, my sister called. Oh, well, my so-and-so called. Oh, well, my da-da-da. Or my ex-wife, or my ex-husband, or my child, and listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with attending to the needs of those people in your life. I'm saying that when you're dating a people pleaser, the need to be needed will often trump the desire that they have for you, until they get into a place where they're deprogramming and reprogramming themselves to not people please. So if their mom calls them, like for me, my mom can call me, recovering people pleaser, my mom can call me. And if I don't have the time to do what she needs me to do right then, I will tell her that. It's not, oh my God, I got to do the thing. No, I will say, hey, Mom, I don't have time to do this right now. When do you need it? When is the latest I could do this for you? Because I'm not going to drop everything. See, I remember the seasons in my life when I would drop everything. And listen, when I was dropping everything, it wasn't even for my mom. It was for people in my life that I wanted to like me and to love me. So I'm dropping everything. Oh, the stories I could tell you about when I dropped everything. But anyway, I digress. So, like I said, there's nothing wrong, but what you'll have to understand, well, you don't have to understand it, but if you want to understand, then the understanding that their need to be needed is often greater than their desire for you is something that you might have to sit with for a while, because over time, you're going to notice a pattern. You're going to notice a pattern of them showing up late because their sister called, or them showing up late because their mom called, or showing up late because their best friend called, or showing up late because there's going to be this pattern of I'm late because, and as it goes on and on and on, you know, you'll have conversations about it more than likely. If you're watching this video, you probably have had conversations about it. And they say, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, I'll definitely do better. And, you know, and they're very sincere, okay? They are very sincere. But here's what you have to understand about that level of sincerity, okay? Now, before I get into this level of sincerity that people pleasers love to exude, make sure that you've already liked this video. If you've been here this long, you might as well just go ahead and hit like, maybe subscribe, maybe, you know, pause the video, trot on over to my Instagram, say hello, or even to my TikTok, whatever you want to do. But anyway, let's get back to this level of sincerity. This level of sincerity is sincere. It's just not sustainable. See, until the people pleaser or those that engage in people pleasing behavior, because I hate to label. I know I've got a lot of videos that say people pleaser, and what I really should say is people pleasing behavior, those that engage in people pleasing behavior. What they have to get to a point, and this is a have to, like they have to get to a point where they recognize their worth. And they recognize that their worth does not come from performing for other people. You know, I've often talked about that doggie in the window, and I don't know if you've ever been to a pet store, but you'll see the doggies, if you ever see the puppies, and they see a person come up, they start to, look at me, look at me. They almost like they're smiling at you, right? Because they want to be chosen. They want you to take them home. And I'm like, that's a lot of times what people-pleasing behaviors cause you to do is to perform. You're performing. You're that doggie in the window because either the roles that you put on yourself or the roles that you've allowed other people to put on to you matter. So listen, the apology is completely, well, that's new. Now we've got itching eyes. But you know, the apology is completely sincere. No, never think for a moment that it isn't. If it isn't sincere, that's a whole different video and a whole different problem. But it's just not sustainable until they get to the point where they say, I don't have to prove anything to anyone by doing. My life, my value here on this planet, this ball of earth, is not contingent upon whether I am doing for other people or not, going above and beyond doing for other people, over giving and overperforming and overdoing and overcommitting. That's not where my sense of worth comes from. That's not where my sense of self comes from. That's not where I need to be in order to be loved and liked and cared for and cherished properly. But that's something that has to happen within, right? So you're probably saying, well, you know, I know this and I see them and I think they're awesome. So can I just tell them that they don't have to do this? And yeah, let me answer that question in one big, easy word. No, you can't. Okay, that's not right. You can't. You can absolutely tell them. But if you're telling them with the idea that once you say this thing, the heavens are going to open, the angels are going to start to sing, and everything is going to change, you're deluding yourself. That's not how any of this happens. True change has to begin within, not without. Now, that doesn't mean that your words don't matter. That just means that your words will not make the dent in their identity that you think they will, even if you say it over and over and over again. So, should you date a people pleaser? The jury's still out on that, because dating a people pleaser means that, one, you're not going to know. So you might be knee deep in the relationship before you figure out, wait a minute, wait a minute, this person is always running off to do something for somebody else. Again, they have a cape in their closet as we speak. So if that's something that you want to deal with, great. And most of you are going to say, I don't want to deal with that. I want to be with somebody that's focused on me. Okay, great. Well, here's the thing. You're not even with somebody that's focused on themselves. So what do you do, Stephanie? What can I do? Am I just stuck? I really like this person. They're great. I care for them. I might even love them. I don't know. Help me. Okay, I'm going to help you. All right. But before I do that, what I need you to do is make sure that you like this video. And if you found something meaningful, be sure that you share it out to your friends and say, hey, you know, this was interesting to me. And, you know, there's even a function where you can like share at the particular point where I say something meaningful. So make sure that you're doing that. Okay. Like do that. Oh, and check the description box because there's all sorts of goodies in the description box. I think there's free classes and link to my Facebook group. There's all kinds of stuff, right? Because remember, I'm your favorite empowerment coach. I'm gonna give you all of these things to be empowered. All right, so you want help, like help me. How do I deal with this? Well, first of all, the thing that you have to decide is to your, as a coach, I hate the term you have to. I feel like it's very disempowering. Okay, so it is to your benefit to decide if you even want to deal with it. And that's a conversation with yourself. That's not a conversation with them, asking them, do they plan to change this or whatever? Because those who engage in people-pleasing behavior, remember, the apology is sincere but not sustainable. It only becomes sustainable once they've done the inner work to rewire, deprogram, and reprogram themselves to understand their sense of self and their sense of worth does not come from performing and doing for others as a norm. Nothing wrong with doing for other people. There is something wrong with doing for other people because that is the only way that you understand that you are worthy and valuable in the world. That's a whole problem. Remember, I always tell you, you're worthy in your being, not in your doing. Okay, but I digress. So you've got to figure out, even, and especially if you're a recovering people pleaser like me, because if you're a recovering people pleaser, this is almost like the bonus round. You're going to see it before they see it. And you're going to be like, whoop, whoop, whoop. This looks real familiar. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to look really familiar. That was my experience in being connected to someone who was knee deep in their people pleasing behaviors. I was like, ooh, that's how I was, because they would do things and I'm like, ooh, that's so familiar. But, you know, also, though, it was very affirming for me that that's no longer how I function. I did have my relapse. It was a tiny relapse, micro relapse, but a relapse is a relapse. But that's something that you have to decide within if you want to deal with this. If the traits of this person are great enough, have potential enough, although I'm real like side eye about you dating potential, but are they enough, and is the connection enough for you to say, okay, I'm gonna try to ride this out? Because you have that choice. It's not doomed, you know, but you may find that there's a chronic level of dysfunction that you may be able to deal with, or maybe not, you know. But that's a decision that you have to make. My hand is going off frame. Hey, hand. Anyway. So the other thing I can help you with is that if you want to encourage this person to seek help versus you being the help. See, here's the thing. Here's the other part I'm going to tell you. Please do not try to become their coach, their therapist, or any other role that would make them treat you like a therapist or a coach, right? That's not your role. You're trying to have a relationship with this person. You're trying to have a romantic relationship with this person. So you're not trying to be their mother, their lover, their therapist, or their coach. Or you're trying to be their mother. You're not trying to be their mother. You are trying to be their lover, not their therapist, not their coach. Let me say that correctly. So that being said, if you wanted to, you could encourage them to seek help. And the way we like to encourage people to seek help is not say, hey, you need some help. That's not very helpful. But what we can say is like, hey, you know, I really care about you. And, you know, I've noticed that sometimes it seems like you're always trying to do a lot. And I really admire that about you. And I love you know, your heart and the way that you care for people. However, you know, and if you've already been to therapy, you can say that. Have you considered seeing anyone or talking to anyone about why you might feel the need to do so much? Notice how I frame that. And those of you who are communications people, I'm going to say use softeners. Those of you who are managers, use sandwich feedback. Sandwich feedback, compliment, challenge, compliment, sandwich. You know, don't come in hot and be like, look, if you don't go, no ultimatums. Look, if you don't go to therapy or do something, this isn't going to work. That's not going to work. That's not loving. That's not caring. That's dogmatic and disempowering. So if you truly care for this person, choose your words carefully. Use your intuition and your discernment to decide when you bring up this topic. Please don't bring it out in a fit of rage or anger or sheer disappointment. That's not helpful. So here's the thing, and this is the last thing I'm going to tell you. You know, should you date a people pleaser? I've gone over a few things, and before I get to this last point, it's the last thing I'm going to tell you. Make sure you like the video. If you're loving the channel and you're loving this information, this is kind of how it goes down over here. Make sure you subscribe. I would love it if you subscribe and tell your friends about the channel. If you feel like there's something here that's empowering you, do not be stingy with the steps. Share steps. Share the love. Sharing is caring. So the last thing I'm going to tell you is that, you know, you figuring out what you want, and if you can handle it, you taking the posture of maybe encouraging them to get help, or to seek out support in some way. I think those are really great things, right? And so here's the other thing I'm going to say to you around the question of should you date a people pleaser? There is no yes or no answer to this. It's about what is right for you. Here's what you need to know. If you find that them being engaged in people-pleasing behavior is starting to rub off on you, if you find that you are now overgiving and overdoing because you're picking up on their energy. This is for my empathic and intuitives, you know, because you're picking up on that energy and you're starting to mirror each other. And this is for those who think you might be in a twin flame relationship with a person that engages in people-pleasing behaviors. That may be your answer. Because the biggest question you can ask about whether you should date a people pleaser or not, or whether you should date anybody, is do I like who I am or who I am becoming as the result of being in this relationship? That's the biggest question you can ask. That's the answer that you need. And that's all I have to say about that. My name is Stephanie D. McKenzie. I'm a speaker, teacher, author, and coach, here to remind you to always be your own superhero, and to thank you guys so much for loving and learning and answering questions and stopping the people pleasing and watching the shorts and commenting and doing all the things. Thank you for doing all of that with me. See you on the next video.